All right, hello friends. How are you doing on this Saturday early evening? It is 5:40 right now, and day 1, 2, 3, my challenge. And today we're going to go back in the kitchen, and tonight I'm going to be making a simple squash tomato soup. And so I did most of the cutting up already, but so for the squash, I'm using a buttercup squash and tomatoes. I'm using some field tomatoes I got, a couple days ago, and they ripened perfectly for today. And so you definitely want some ripe tomatoes. Really adds a beautiful sweetness and tartness. And so starting off very simple. I'm just heating up my my pot right now. I've got a Dutch oven. I'll show you. Okay, so whoop. I think it's a 4 liter. I'm not too sure exactly, but I'm pretty sure it's a 4 liter. But so first things first, I'm gonna get a little bit of oil. I've got some olive oil, although it's not ideal to cook with higher temperatures. So I'm only doing medium temperature, and so just a little bit of oil. Why? Because I want to be able to cook up the initial things, the base, which is I'm using garlic, ginger, and onions, and some mushrooms and some red chili peppers. Okay, so to be able to get a little bit to get the flavors out, I wanna pan fry them a little bit in a little bit of oil. Once it gets a little bit yellowy, I definitely don't want to be burning, so that's important. And so I already pre-cut the what do you call it? The ginger and garlic. I'm gonna, hopefully you can see this, I'm gonna cut an onion. Okay, so for those who don't know how to cut it, I'll show you how. You want to keep the base intact. Okay, cut it right down the middle. Okay, then you want to peel off the outside. Maybe I should have did this before. Okay, so here, actually not cut off a little piece here. Okay, and the reason why you want to keep the base intact is so that when we make slits in it, it's going to hold together. You know what? I'm going to grab my scraps bag. Remember the veggie scraps, people? Get a bag. And any scraps you don't use, you put them in here, and then you can use it later to create some veggie broth. So that way it does not go to waste. It's very simple. You just take the skin off. And again, with all vegetables, there's a lot of great nutrients in the skin. Hey Donna, good to see you. Making a little soup tonight. What? Okay, so how do you dice an onion? Okay, so first thing, I'm gonna make some slits this way. Okay, so these are perpendicular to the root. Okay, so if you remember down here, right, we keep it intact. And then now you cut them horizontally. Okay, this way, a couple times is probably good enough. And then all you do is cut them straight down, and they should come into beautiful, perfect size onions, like onion pieces. Okay, and then the last little bit, you just cut into small pieces. And then the root, throw it in the bag of scraps. All right, so I think the oil is probably, the oil is probably ready. Okay. Again, I didn't put that much in, but again, for the base, putting what do you call it? Garlic and ginger. Okay, so that's what I'm putting in first. I want to get that a little bit brown. Well, not too brown. The key again to cooking it is so that we can get some of the flavors out. Oh, baby. Yes. All right. Got some color there already, so that's pretty quick. Again, you don't want to be burning them, so you want to be medium heat, which I did. Next, put the onions in. We'll have them a little bit translucent. You guys see that? I think so. Oh yeah, once those onions came in, oh man, beautiful flavor. So we're gonna let that fry up for about 30 seconds to a minute. In the meantime, I'm gonna cut up the rest of that onion the same way I did before. Okay. This is the rest of the onions. Oh man, look at that. Beautiful. Yeah, once the onions get translucent, then you know it's a pretty good time to add the rest of the ingredients. And so the next thing I'm going to add, this is optional, red chili peppers. Look at that. Boom, baby. Adds a beautiful kick. I only put 2 red chili peppers. If you want more kick, put more. If you don't want any, then obviously don't put any. I left the seeds in there because that's where the kick is. And then to add a beautiful, one of the best for me, I find one of the best ingredients to add and an umami flavor are mushrooms. So these are the white button top mushrooms. I'm gonna throw it in there. Okay. The onion is translucent, so it's beautiful color. A lot of the flavors, excuse me, a lot of flavors are coming out. And nothing, if you put peppers in there, watch out. Oh man. Okay, and then what I've also done is, because I'm making squash soup, I boiled some water first, okay? So I'm gonna let this cook up a little bit for probably, I don't know, 2 to 3 minutes, not that much. And while that's going, I'm just gonna wash my tomatoes. And then give it a stir. You don't want anything to be sticking. And again, with mushrooms, the beautiful thing with mushrooms is that, oh, who's that? Let's see here. The beautiful thing with mushrooms is that it blends all the flavors together. No matter what no matter what dish you do, that's what mushrooms can do. Okay, so I'm gonna let that cook for a little bit, maybe another minute or so. Then I'll show you. So this is the squash that I'm using, and a squash is I'm leaving the what do you call it? The skin. It's very hard, so I'm leaving it on. Why? Because there's a lot of great things in the skin. Even though it's hard, not all squashes you can actually cook and eat the outer skin, because it's very hard and some of it's not actually digestible. So whatever squash you're using, make sure that you double check. The one I'm using is buttercup squash. Okay, so I looked it up just to make sure it's safe to eat. The skin, so I'm leaving it on. Again, lots of fiber, lots of nutrition. And then for me, I'm just cutting into small pieces because it just cooks easier with the soup. And also, the squash is quite starchy. So what that means is that it will thicken the soup a little bit, depending on how much water I put in. But I really like this soup, especially with tomato. Oh my gosh, it tastes so good. And a lot of ingredients, if you notice, actually, the rind, yes. Oops. This, right? I keep it right on. Again, depending on the squash I use, just double check on the internet to make sure that it's edible, okay? Some are not. So, here we go. Woo! Baby. Oh, so good. Again, if you're gonna smell it, make sure you waft the odor towards your face. Don't put your face on top of it. You don't want to burn yourself. Some of us might have done that at times. Not saying who. All right, baby. Woo. All right, so actually, you know what? I have not cooked it this way before, but I'm gonna try a little bit different this time. I'm gonna cook the tomatoes before I add the water. Because it adds some liquid, number one, but number two, it cooks the tomatoes as well, which allows the flavor to come out. Obviously, I'm doing this live, so and it adds a beautiful color now, doesn't it? So one of the things I actually I like different flavors and all natural flavors. So I have some cilantro stems, which I'm going to throw in a second here. It's going to add a beautiful flavor, as well as a beautiful color. So depending on how much sweetness you like, determines how many tomatoes you want to throw in there. So I'm just doing how many? three medium-sized tomatoes. They're not extra large or anything, but they're good size. And again, once you get some liquid in there, you might want to turn the heat up a little bit. But I pre-cooked most of the other stuff already, so wow. Oh, those onions, wow. It's called facial. Yeah. Okay, I got one more tomato. I'm going to cut up and throw it in there. But yeah, man, the odor is starting to smell really good. So this is a very simple soup that I'm making. And to be honest, I kind of experimented about 4 or 5 different recipes, and this is the one I like the most. Okay, so just getting some cilantro stem here. So So here's the cilantro. Okay, pow. That's a beautiful color. And there's actually a lot of flavor in the stem of the cilantro versus the leaves. The leaves are good, but there's actually a lot more flavor packed in the stems. And that's where a lot of the fiber and all that is too as well. All right, it's cooking up. Oh man, oh, once I put the cilantro in, holy smokes. What a beautiful, beautiful aroma. About canned tomatoes? Yeah, canned tomatoes are fine. They work just as well as fresh tomatoes. Actually, at this time of year, I think most people, or maybe a couple months ago, most people will probably use canned tomatoes because most places around here aren't actually growing tomatoes. So canned tomatoes are just as good. The only thing with canned tomatoes is, I'm going to cover for a second. Yeah. Hey Jacob. The only thing with canned tomatoes is that you want to make sure that the can itself is a certain grade or certain type so that the tomatoes don't leach the tin into otherwise they'll go into your food. And so, let me see here. I think I have one here that says metal can. No, not the one I'm looking for. Maybe this one. Okay, hold on, people. Because there are certain cans that you don't want to be using because it'll the tomato will leach. Oh, here we go. Okay, so if you look here, it says, if you can read it, non-BPA liner, right? So what that does is it's a liner in the can which allows, which does not allow the tomato to actually, the metal to actually leach into the tomatoes. And so as long as your can says that, then it's safe to use and preferable to use actually canned tomatoes. But if it doesn't have a liner, then I would definitely be careful because again, you're putting this into your body. So what you're doing is you're actually putting metal into your body if you don't have the cans that have the liner. Okay, so I'll just put it back here. All right. Woo! Oh, baby. Okay. So good. Oh. So good. So very simple recipe. So now, ooh, actually, you know what? There's already a lot of flavor in here, so I'm just gonna put water in here. Okay, so this is about 1.5 liters. Okay, and I boiled it ahead of time. Okay. Because again, we are making soup. If I were making Indian food, actually a lot of the base would be similar. Because a lot of Indian food is the trilogy, garlic, ginger, and onion, which I started with. And then a lot of times they add tomato and a bunch of different spices. To me, I don't have any spices with this one. However, I do have squash, which I obviously pre-cut. And so now I'm gonna put that into the soup, and essentially the squash is the what do you call it? It's the carb, right? So it's going to thicken up the soup. So depends how thick you want your soup. If you want it runnier, then add more water or less squash. If you want it a little thicker, then add more squash to your pot. To me, I kind of like I like a little screw it. I like a little thick. I don't know. To me, I guess it's a little gives me a little sustenance. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, I'll have to find some what do you call it? Find some toast or what have you. And so, very simple. Let me see. Do I want more water? Okay. So with this. Oh, hey Sandy, I do not do canned unless otherwise. Yeah, definitely. Because they know that. Where are you? All right. Because they did research and they found out that canned tomatoes not good in tin cans, and so that's why they developed the liners. And so, but I think most canned tomatoes nowadays have that liner. But just double check. Just to make sure, because again, that's what's going to your body. So, there you go. Look at that. Doesn't that look nice? Okay. So, what I'm going to do with this, actually, you know what? One thing I really like is I like to add a little bit of ground cinnamon. Okay, it just adds a beautiful flavor. Okay, and usually I'll add some salt and pepper, but I'll do that after the oh my gosh, that's cinnamon. Oh, never. I might try getting cinnamon sticks because oh my gosh, it smells really good. Okay, so anyway, very simple recipe, right? All you do, like, is just do what I just did. And now we just cover. Very simple. Okay, and so with that soup, that's all you do. You cook it up, and then in about an hour or so, it should have softened the squash enough so that you can actually start breaking it up. So you can either break it up with a masher, or when you finish the soup, you can actually just put it into a blender. And I'll show you what I have. If I had a big one, I would love to. I don't have a fully stocked kitchen. So instead, I have one of these, what is this? New Twister Wave, right? But, you know, all you do is fill up the soup in here. Right, and then it'll blend the whole soup to make it just smooth, right? Which is so good. And once it's smooth, then just add a little bit of color, right? Again, garnish, which is I usually just do some cilantro or some parsley, a little bit of pepper, get some black in there, and anything else that you want to add. Maybe what do you call it? Pickled ginger. That you eat with sushi? Ooh, that's a good idea. Yes. Well, again, you can add whatever you want. Sesame seeds, you can do that as well. But at the end of the day, that's all it is, right? Once the soup is cooked for about an hour, blend it up, and then serve it however you want. I might toast up some bread and then have it. But again, the carbs is already in the squash, and you can play around with the different recipes, but I find that I really like this one because it's nice and simple, it's nutritious, it's healthy, and it has a lot of the color. So it's got the white with the onion and the mushroom. It's got the yellow with the squash itself / green, and of course cilantro, and then the red is the tomatoes. So we got most of the colors. I just didn't have the purple, which is fine. But again, when you're eating, make sure you get a good variety of color, because color will, different colors will give you different types of nutrition. And so, Sandy, I love that squash. Curry, yes, nice. Oh, cool. Yes, yeah, I love buttercup squash. It's great. It's really easy to cook with, especially for soups. So one of the things I need to learn how to do is curries, and that will be on my list along with just I need to get a good variety of spices. If you guys have watched my video with Erin, oh my gosh, she had a whole freaking like tub of different spices. Holy smoke. Eventually I'll need to do that. But anyway, that's basically it for today's live. And yeah, if you guys try it, shoot me a message. Love to hear how it turns out. And if you have any other ideas or things that you think will go well with this, let me know. I'm always open to try new recipes and new spices. So, anyways, hope you're having a phenomenal Easter long weekend, and I will see you tomorrow. Ciao.